In this video, we'll talk about why people should change to survive. I will illustrate in a few examples how important it is in our society, especially in business, to change and adapt without hesitation, both for the company and for their employees. After watching this video, your work ethic will dramatically shift to a more positive approach and you will no longer be allergic to change. So, let's get started. Here's a question for everyone. 50%, a statistical figure that belongs to a company in a certain country. What on earth does this mean? This figure is the survival rate of companies after 20 years of existence in a country. This means that the company you set up this year will only have left half of what's going to be after 20 years. Incidentally, the number of companies that can survive for 10 years is 70% of the total and 45% of companies that can survive for 30 years. For example, if all of us would have wanted to work for the same company for 40 years, from age 25 to 65, the vast majority wouldn't have been able to fulfill that wish. If you are a business owner, how long have you been running it? 5 years? 10 years? Or 30 years? If you went up to 50 years, it's a miracle that your company still exists. Some of the employees of such a long-standing company would probably be happy. Having job stability for so many years is rare and they might be appreciative of that. On the other hand, there will be for sure that type of workers who would think, another day at this job. Why do I have to work so hard for this company, for my boss? As a matter of fact, the common thing that unites these two people is their work done today, even though their minds stay extremely opposite. So, how has a company that has been around for so long been able to survive the competition in the market economy? Is there a special secret? Let me conclude. Surviving companies are not satisfied with temporary success, but are constantly changing to anticipate future market conditions and adapt to them. So, this type of companies can grow, leaving behind the ones that are slow to take advantage of the changing environment. Instead, they stick to the status quo and boast of temporary success. In other words, the secret to a company's survival is to keep changing. This theory of survival is readily apparent in the history of mankind. It is said that in BC, humans coexisted with dinosaurs. Later on, what survived on this earth were not dinosaurs with large bodies and overwhelming power, but small, impotent humans. The reason of the survival of the human race can also be explained by the keywords change and adaptation, left behind by the pundits in the past, such as survival of the fittest and natural selection. Humans have been able to survive only because they have adapted to environmental changes and created new species preservation principles. We all know the fact that the environment is changing at a super fast speed due to technological progress in the modern era. It has become more and more difficult to anticipate the innovations and technology that will occur in the next 10 years or even 5 years, and the lifestyle changes that will come along with them. Let's take the smartphone as an example. 10 years ago, only a very limited number of people had a smartphone. It has now become so prevalent that it's difficult to find someone who doesn't have one. The smartphone nowadays enables us to take photos and videos, give directions, listen to music, control white goods, and hold video conferencing. How many of us could have predicted the innovation and practicality of this technology a decade ago? This technological innovation and changing environment has dramatically changed our lifestyle. It has become a global standard to be able to do whatever you want with your smartphone in your spare time, in your car, on the train, on the plane, etc. Now that our daily lives have become more comfortable through technology, can humanity ever go back to the way we lived a decade ago? Also, how would you feel if your boss who rejects the development and change of technology instructs saying, "Let's sell regular cell phones, not a smartphone from now"? Once we have become accustomed to a comfortable life with the help of technology, it is unlikely that we will be able to reduce our level of living from there to the level of the past. In other words, no one can stop the growth and development of humanity, and if you can't keep up with the changes, you will be simply left behind in the times. In this way, it's impossible for us humans, who are constantly seeking convenience and comfort of life, to go back to inconvenience. We have to live now, but looking on to the future, in response to the changes in society. So what should we base ourselves on, and how should we feel about surviving in our society? It seems difficult at first glance, but it is so simple. If you can predict 5 or 10 years from now, like with the smartphone example, I would encourage you to become an entrepreneur and to provide services that will solve the challenges of a future society. The amount of your information and your knowledge to anticipate the changes of the times are your strengths, and society is looking for your strength. On the other hand, most people who have difficulties predicting the future will be working in a company. There, they should continue to make a difference, along with their bosses and colleagues. Having a mindset, elevate yourself to a higher level of who you are today than yesterday. You keep up changing to build upon your skills and experiences. That should eventually change your company in a good way. That's right. It is you who change, not others. You bring about revolutionary changes into your company. Some of you may have frowned when heard that you were going to change, or thought, "I can't do this." But don't worry. Usually, everyone is looking for a reason why they can't change, therefore justifying their inability to change. However, those who understand that society and living conditions are constantly changing will take action, turn it into a company, and adapt to the changes in the environment. You are the potential to be a part of it too. Here is an example of a great company made by a very few change makers. It's the Toyota Motor Corporation. Toyota Motor Corporation's predecessor was founded in 1926 as an automatic loom manufacturer, which manufactured and sold those in Japan. And there was a new department born in 1933, organized by some employees who wanted a change over the great opposition of other departments. This department was the so-called Automotive Department. That automotive department has now become Toyota Motor Corporation, the world's largest auto industry company competing for the #1 position in the world. Change-averse management and change-loving employees have brought about a major company transformation from automatic looms to automobiles. I hope everyone has seen this far. Do you still feel hesitant to change? Or you do understand that we have to change ourselves and that staying unchanged is a risk in itself? Finally, in line with the theory of survival of the fittest, let's see 3 scenarios of how the respective mindsets of the company and its employees affect the growth of the company. Here is the first scenario. The head of this company does not stick to his past successes, but inspires his employees every day to stay open and to adapt to the market environment changes. Employees, eventually, generate new ideas, set up hypotheses, and take actions to verify those hypotheses in the market, based on clear management policies. This is followed by a cycle of hypothesis reconfiguration and then action, and so new things are born one after another. As a result, Small changes occur in every department, which eventually leads to great success for the entire company. Such a company will continue to survive and develop. An ideal company image, isn't it? The second one. The head of this company is also sensitive to the changing times and has a mindset that is constantly changing day by day. Many employees, however, continue to maintain the status quo by complaining and opposing the decisions made by their executives. Then the company will be left behind in the changing times and its performance will naturally deteriorate. Such a company will need to change the mindset of its employees. And this is the third scenario. None of the company's executives are willing to make a change. On the other hand, there are some employees who spontaneously turn the cycle of hypotheses and verifications to seek change and make an effort to create something new. However, important decisions on which significant growth is at stake require executive approval, and here again, approval may not be forthcoming. If you are a change-seeking employee at such a company, there is only one thing to do. It's a career change. There is no future for companies whose management is satisfied with the status quo. It's best to find a company that has the potential to grow and change jobs quickly. Now, let's look back and summarize the content of this video. First of all, change and adaptation are important for the survival of humanity, and the survival theory applies to the survival of companies as well. Secondly, that given our inability to predict future lifestyles, we should be flexible enough to change and adapt, and that maintaining the status quo is rather a risk. And finally, under the principle of survival of the fittest, we should continue to make changes in our current environment. And in the unlikely event that we are in an environment where we cannot make changes, we should strive to change that environment as soon as possible. That is all for today with the topic of why people should change to survive. Thank you for joining and listening to us. This channel provides useful content for your life management, such as your business career and business administration, self-development, communication, and finance. If you like it, I'd love it if you would subscribe to the channel. Also, I would like to post useful videos on this channel, so if you have a theme that you would like me to summarize, I am always looking for it in the comment section or other social network services. See you again in the next video.